Testing 1, 2, 3. Welcome everybody. This is Allastrology, and we are going to take a walk through the energetic weather for the full moon of January. We're using a new software. It's actually not new for me, but it's new for you guys. This actually looks a little bit more simple. It looks less detailed, which less details for somebody who's like, hey, I'm a little interested and I'm thinking of trying to pinpoint how to understand this better. It's easier to see because there's just not so much to be overwhelmed by. And so this is what we're doing. You see my little cursor here, right? So it's going to point to the date, January 28th, 2021. This is happening on Thursday. Yes, I know this is tomorrow. So I hope I get this up by tonight for you. I was going to actually do this live. Because of the way the planets have shifted, okay, you see all these planets in Aquarius? Well, all this stuff here, this is all in my 10th house. This is all in my midheaven. And I'm explaining this because my urge, my desire, my suddenly feeling of I need to be one-on-one, touching in with the people. Anyway, it's just been super strong and pressing on me for actually a couple of months now. But now we've got all these freaking planets here. And so if this is at your midheaven, whatever is at your midheaven, this is what you're striving for. This is what you're climbing towards. It's that Capricorn type of energy. So I have Aquarius in the 10th house, all right, which means it's group activity, being within the group, but standing out within the group, right? Because that's Aquarius. It's looking different, being unique, okay? It's being brave enough to stand out and to show the unique degrees of your being. So when we have this full moon on January 28th, it is about the sun, which is right here. You see how it lit up by that blue circle? So it's the circle with the dot in the center. The sun being at 9 degrees and 5 minutes in Aquarius. And at the opposite of the sun, we go to the opposite of Aquarian energy, which is Leo energy. We've got the moon at 9 degrees and 5 minutes. So that's what the oppositions are. It is the opposing energies at the exact degrees and exact minutes, right? Leo, 9 degrees, 5 minutes. Yes. Leo, and then the sun, 9 degrees, 5 minutes. So let's talk about a little bit more about Aquarius. All right, I said group energy, so this is your friendships, this is your social circles, this is the internet, this is how you gather digitally. Think about the sign of Aquarius. It is about advancements for humanity, so it is inventions. It is the inventor. It is science. This is Nikola Tesla energy. So this is any sort of up-and-coming, new, cutting-edge technology that helps humanity move forward. So this was, Uranus and Aquarius, and I said Uranus and Aquarius because Uranus, that's this interesting-looking symbol here. Uranus rules, okay? It rules Aquarius, okay? So we're just going to say like Uranus is the big boss of Aquarius energy, all right? It guides the Aquarian energy. It guides the people. It channels the energy to act and look and be in a certain way, to have a certain quality, a certain characteristic, and a certain trait. But let's not forget the big thing about the Aquarian energy and the planet Uranus is shocks and surprises. Expect the unexpected. Expect the unexpected. What does that mean? But let's back up a little bit, right? We've got expect the unexpected because it is the sign of Aquarius. And look at all the planets we have in the sign of Aquarius. We've got Saturn at 4 degrees and 53 minutes. We already talked about the sun at 9 degrees, but look what it is conjunct. Conjunct means what is it that's right next to, right on top of, okay? It is exactly 9 degrees and 17 minutes. Jupiter. What does Jupiter do? Jupiter adds to things. It expands things. Jupiter is very powerful in the sign of Aquarius. Jupiter does really well here. When it was in Capricorn for the last year, Jupiter couldn't be as benevolent. It couldn't spread its angel wings as grand as it usually does. It doesn't, because Saturn and / Capricorn energy is Earth. Okay, it's physical, it's material. Jupiter is exactly opposite of that. Exactly opposite of that. It expands, it's air. right? It's air. Jupiter rules the sign of Sagittarius. And what is Sagittarius? It's a fire sign. And what happens when you put air and fire together, right? Whoosh! All of a sudden it expands. It has the capacity to explode. All of a sudden the fire grows, right? And it travels really fast. Jupiter expands things. Jupiter adds to things. People who have prominent Jupiter energy in their chart, they tend to elaborate on things. Sometimes they exaggerate. Sometimes, depending upon who the individual is, they usually are really great storytellers because they know how to embellish in a way that adds to the story. Now, let's keep in mind, because this is in Aquarian energy, this is important because we are communicating digitally and the masses, right? All of 2020 and the information, the misinformation, the miscommunication, even the legitimate information, or how about this? Even the information that was meant to be funny was taken as serious, was taken as, high quality information, was taken as legit, was taken as actual news, like sources where journalists would actually say, okay, this is a credible source. But that's not what happened. The opposite happened, right? This Jupiter effect happened. We had Jupiter in Capricorn, okay? And that happened, this Aquarian thing, it wasn't just about Jupiter being in Capricorn and expanding upon things and blowing things out of proportion. Definitely, right? And I'm not going to digress because we could be here all day, but it's also the North Node in Gemini energy. Remember, we've been talking about this for a long time. If you're a subscriber here, G has been talking about the North Node in Gemini and the South Node in Sagittarius. The Gemini nodes, what does that mean? Gemini is social media. It is talking, thinking, relating, and communicating. It is how you think and how you communicate. It is your immediate environment, your immediate community. When we think of people, it's siblings, it's coworkers, it's next door neighbors, it's people who are in your daily routines. It could be people who you live with who may not be your blood siblings. When we go to the other side, we look at Sagittarius energy. And what is that? It's the opposite of thinking, it is believing. Right? And how do you form your beliefs? Your beliefs are based on how you think and your thoughts and what you think about, what you focus your thoughts on. Then we form beliefs. And that's what Sagittarius energy is. And remember, the ruler of Sagittarius, Jupiter. So Jupiter comes up again, right? Because Jupiter is the ruler and the South Node is there. And the South Node represents what we're letting go. So it's beliefs that we have, beliefs that we had, H-A-D, had, beliefs we're letting go. Beliefs about what? It depends where Sagittarius energy is in your chart. If you got a chart, find out where your Sagittarius energy is because the nodes have been working with you for the last year and they're going to continue for the rest of 2021. The North and the South Node is going to be working these energies. So we are changing the way we relate and communicate. We are changing the way we speak, changing the way we think. And not just online, but when we are face to face. But how that's changed, right? Because we haven't been able to be face to face. So it's put more emphasis of online. Therefore, what's been happening online, the ways in which we communicate have been really in the spotlight, especially with the recent election in the United States. And seeing the breakdown of information / misinformation and the cracks and the crevices and the divisions that have grown because of things that are said or things that are not said, things that were hidden, things that are not hidden. And so then this will change our beliefs. We will let go of the way we used to relate and communicate, and that will then change our beliefs. And that's how that works. It changes here, and then it changes here. So the North Node again in Gemini is a new way of doing something. It is where we are headed. And so find the Gemini energy in your chart and you will know what area of your life, because all you got to do is find out what house number it's in. Okay, that's all you have to do. When you know what house number it's in, the house number tells you the area of your life. If you are interested in that, just hit me up down below. I can get that information to you. I draw up free charts and free quick peeks so that you can see and at least have the foundations of understanding astrology. And if you don't like that word, then fine. Either way, these are the areas of your life. And as these planets travel / transit through these areas of your chart / your life, this is all about where things are happening, what is happening, what are the inclinations and the impressions you're receiving from the planetary bodies that are up in the sky moving. So the full moon, sun opposing the moon. Okay. Now the sun and in Aquarian energy, we talked about its inventions. It is inventions for humanity, but things that help us with the advancement. So when like the Wright brothers in air flight, Aquarius was a big deal. Uranus energy was a big deal at that time. Okay. So traveling in group energy, trains, right? Planes, trains, automobiles. Uranus energy, big deal. So your automobile, right? But we've been progressing. I will tell you this, the age of Aquarius is upon us, folks. It's going to come in full throttle in a couple of years. And in that time, we're going to see advancements with our four-wheel automobile, right? We know all about the automobiles that are driving themselves and the testing that's been going on. And soon we'll have, 100% battery operated with no driver needed. Like that's coming, folks. Believe it, it's on its way. Yes, it's still in testing phases, but it's just like when the airplane first came out. People thought, what? No way I'm getting in that damn thing. There's no way. And now today, being in an airplane is safer than driving in a car. It's going to take some time, but it is coming. And having all this emphasis and this energy is all about where we're headed in our technology, what we are creating. And how we can have these advancements, how we can grow, how we can progress as a group, as a unit. This is also like I said, the internet. So this is definitely, the ways that we relate and congregate digitally. Now, you're having the sun. The sun is where you put your light and where your focus is. The sun is what energizes you. All right. Which is another indicator as to why it would be like, wow, I want to get my butt back online. I want to start talking to people. I want to communicate. And right now, digitally seems to be the only way that's the only safe way to communicate. Right. So what we're doing is there's an emphasis on this, and it's conjunct Jupiter, which means it becomes a big emphasis. It becomes like, I need to do this right now. All right, like right this instant. I need to be in front of these people or with these people. I need to be amongst the people. All right, it's group energy. To pinpoint it more specifically, it's people where you have like group goals. This is about humanity. This isn't just about, that Capricorn energy where it's, I want to be with people, but yet I have my own goal. No, it's where you're going to have people. It's kind of like grouping up with your tribe, people who have these common goals for humanity. It is the altruistic placement in a person's chart. It is also known as the house of angel wings. All right, where your angels dwell, your 11th house. This is beautiful energy. I love this energy. I love it, especially when it's Jupiter and the sun together. There may be benefits coming for people. We already know about benefits that are on the way or that are going to be, kind of cemented in with signatures and then, rolling out soon. The sun, again, it highlights something. It brings something up. The opposite of the sun is the moon. The moon is where your emotions are. The moon is your family. It is feminine energy. The sun is masculine energy. Many times the sun can be looked at as the person in charge. And in Aquarius, it's going to be the person in charge of people. And so there's rules within that group. And so Jupiter, conjunct Saturn, you got somebody who's in charge of the group energy, rules about how we congregate digitally, rules about how we communicate digitally, rules about how we transport ourselves in groups. So when we think about the airlines or planes, trains, right, we think about rules, new standards, higher standards coming in saying, hey, we want to be safe. And right now, science is coming in because that is Aquarius. It is science. Aquarius is also the astrologer. And so we want to, pay attention to the rules because rules are coming. And yes, you may have a different idea. You may say to yourself, but I don't think that rule applies. Well, let's just say it as it is, folks. Let's just pretend that somebody comes out with the rule and it's simply something like, can you please wear a mask when you're in the group? Well, unless you have a physical or a medical condition where you honestly cannot, that would be the only reason that would excuse you from it. Because other than that, if you're refusing to wear a mask, It's just refusing to wear a mask just so that you don't have to. Well, I'm saying this because if we look closely, we've got red lines. And these red lines that are being thrown we've got Mars. Okay. And it's at 10 degrees, 1051. So it's still within a 2-degree orb of Jupiter and the sun. And that's, the red lines, we call these squares. They're 90 degrees away. And squares create stress, testing, and tension. Squares represent that. And if it's Mars and Taurus, Mars is all about my body. It's Taurus, which is what I value. I value my body. I value what I want to do with my body, how I want to be with my body. Remember, Taurus energy can be very stubborn. This is important. Recognize your stubborn Taurian ways. This is important. And I can go deep on this. Taurus values being comfortable, peace, being peaceful. Taurus likes things to be beautiful. Taurus wants things that look good, taste good, feel good, smell good, that when they touch them, it just has a wonderful feeling to it. I'm a double Taurus, so I get along with the animals really well. The animals, I love petting them. It literally feels good on the palm of my hands. It feels good. And it's a double benefit. It feels good on the palm of my hands, and they love it, right? So there's this reciprocal thing that goes on between us. But think about, how does Mars in Taurus show up in your life? Now remember, this is a transiting Mars, which means this is for everybody listening and everybody not listening. It doesn't matter what your chart is. The Mars up in the sky is in Taurus. And Taurus is stubborn about what it values. Taurus represents your income, your money, your love, who you love, what you love, jewelry, clothing, food, fine arts, being artistic, okay? This is a big deal because we're going to swing over to here. Let's go find the ruler of Taurus. Well, we want to find out more details. How is this being affected? How is this acting? So we go and we look at the ruler of Taurus. The ruler of Taurus is Venus. Well, where's Venus at? She's over here. This is Venus. The little circle with the little body, the little person body there. That's Venus at 25 degrees. And look what else is at 25 degrees, right? There's Venus and there's Pluto. Pluto's at 25 degrees. So Venus is conjunct Pluto and they're in Capricorn energy. All right, so this is a double emphasis on material values because Capricorn energy is your goals, but it's your goals that give you tangible security, your tangible securities. This full moon represents our emotional securities. Now, let's also understand that the moon on a large scale, okay, on a very small personal scale, it's your family and it's your mom or any prominent feminine energy in your life. It's emotional security. On a large scale, it's the public. It's people in general, the masses. It's the security, the emotional security of the masses. Because on a large scale, right, the small scale, your family is your family. But on a large scale, humanity is your family. And so that's where the moon in Leo becomes a big deal opposing the sun. We normally try to prepare for a full moon a few days before the full moon because of the rise in our emotions. And it will be very fiery because it's in Leo. And Leo is fixed fire. So what that creates is a T-square. You see the red lines from the moon squaring Mars, then Mars squaring the sun and squaring Jupiter. So you see that red, like left triangle type of thing right there. You see that? Okay. You right? Yeah. Remember what squares mean? Stress and tension. Stress and tension from the moon going to Mars and its body, and it's in Taurus. Okay. So it's emotions getting risen up about something that I value. And then we've got Taurus squaring the sun. So it's, I'm in charge. I'm telling you how to operate in a group. And me over here, the individual, my body thinking, oh no, what the hell? I do or I don't want to do this. But either way, it's causing stress and tension because, well, that's what the energies are. Those are the inclinations that the planetary bodies throw down. Okay. Remember, you have free will. Anytime I go over a chart, Many times certain things come out that I don't plan for them to come out. They just come through. But what I do want to say is anytime something comes through, just remember that whatever is coming through and whatever I say, I try to be very careful. But at the same time, always know that the very first rule number one in astrology is that you have free will. That is never something that is ignored. These are the inclinations that are thrown down. And the question is, can you be aware enough to see yourself being stubborn about what it is you value and refusing to back down, refusing to budge, or even willing to fight? Because Mars is a fighter. Mars is a Marine. Mars was born with a knife in each hand. And Mars fails when Mars doesn't first think. When Mars is impulsive and just acts. When Mars leaps before looking. Mars gets slowed down a little bit when it's in Taurus because the bull is typically, when you look at a bull, they're typically standing around. And people can even walk up to it and try to tag it, try to start something with it. Try to, what's the word I'm thinking? I can't think of the word, but just try to rile it up in a way where they want to see it move and they want to get it to charge. And because the bull is comfortable and the bull doesn't want to move because the bull really just prefers peace. However, if you mess with that bull long enough, what happens? Right? You get those horns. You get the horns. The bull gets angry and it charges. And when it charges, watch out because it can move very fast and take you by surprise. And this bull, if it has Mars with it at this time, if it decides to charge, it can be very quick, okay? But luckily, Taurus is typically a cautious sign. It's not as nearly as impulsive as Mars is. The thing is, we're looking at Venus because it has an effect on the Taurus energy. It tells you how the Taurus energy is going to be acting. And so these are all the ingredients. It is complex. It is layers. It is degrees of energy compounded on top of each other. So Venus conjunct Pluto. Well, guess what happens when Venus is conjunct Pluto? Venus, of course, is everything I said about Taurus. It's about your values, your money. It's what you love. It's who you love. It is your relationships, your relationship with yourself, your relationship with other folks in your life, but important people. It's the people who are in your inner circle. But what happens is Pluto represents power. Now, Pluto not only is power, so it does empower Venus. It does empower Taurus energy at this time. So we want to be aware of that, especially if you live in the States, okay? And I'm saying that, and I've been saying that because, well, you all saw on January 6th why that became an issue. But Mars was just so you know, Mars was at 29 degrees in the sign of Aries on January 6th. There were a couple other things, but the main thing is that Mars was at a testing degree in Aries. So Venus, yeah, she probably does become a little mean because, well, if you look, that 25 degrees, Venus is conjunct Pluto. It doesn't mean that Pluto is mean, but Pluto becomes very powerful. And with Venus, it's going to stand its ground with something that it values. Now, Venus also, like I said before, represents your money and your income. Pluto is power, but not just power. Pluto gives Venus power. Pluto is also knowledge, but it's a power that goes beyond your body. This is what makes this really fascinating. It's not just your physical power, right? Like that's Mars. That's your physical body, right? You can go run, you can do push-ups, you can box, you can get in the ring. That's not what Pluto is. Pluto is the power that goes beyond your body. It's your soul's power. Okay, for some people, this is knowledge from other lifetimes because your soul doesn't die. So what happens, right? Where does your soul go, right? That's another video for another time. The thinking is that your soul accumulates knowledge, accumulates wisdom. And so we'll just say that the soul has this kind of understanding, but there's also a solar power. SOULULAR, a solar power that brings solar solutions. SOULULAR, solar sounds, solar solutions, solar sensations. There's a lot of things going on. So when you are going to sleep, pay attention to your dreams, pay attention to moments of quiet, because the solar solutions are in the silence. Your cellular solutions are in the silence. Turn off the phone, turn off the TV, turn off the YouTube. Yep, I'm saying it. Take some time. Make sure you get some time to get in some moments of silence where your soul speaks, and you hear it. The full moon, whenever we have this testing and this tension and this stress, all you need to find out is where is your Leo energy, where is your Aquarius energy, and where is your Taurus energy. Okay, this is a fixed full moon because Leo is fixed fire, Aquarius energy is fixed air, and Taurus energy is fixed earth. So fixed means I do not budge. I am fixed. I've got my feet in the ground and I'm not going to move. Or I have an idea and I'm not going to waver from it. Or I have a certain way of expressing, because that's what Leo energy is. A fixed fire is my ability to shine and radiate and express and create. And it's fixed. It's the way I've always done it. So I'm going to continue doing it that way. It's who I am. That is fixed Leo energy, a fixed moon, emotions about something, emotional about the way you radiate, the way you express, the way you shine. This is the sign of the actor. Pisces and Leo are signs of great actors, great politicians, by the way, too. I'm just telling you the astrology and the science behind it. They make great politicians because they're these orators. They can stand, they can show, they can be very dramatic, and they can persuade people. Yes. So Leos and Pisces can be great politicians. Yeah. I'm leaving the word right there, politicians. Fixed air is thinking. Fixed air, so a fixed way of thinking. Fixed way of thinking, group energy, right? Fixed ways of communicating, fixed ways of thinking. It's air. Fixed ways of breathing. It's air. Anything that has to do with air. Flying. Fixed ways of flying. Well, we've always done it this way. I'm fixed. So pay attention to what I'm talking about when I'm telling you about the elements and the energy. Element fire, fixed fire. What did I tell you about that, right? Go back and listen to that again, because these are going to be the secrets. These are going to be the key words of what's going to be going on, where you're going to find the stress and the tension in your life. This is the fixed thinking, the fixed communication, the fixed way of traveling in groups, fixed way of breathing, right? This is the way we've always done it. My thoughts about something definitely has to do with traveling. Okay, definitely has to do with traveling because it's air. You know, birds is Aquarius energy, flight, wings. And then we've got the fixed earth, my fixed values. Fixed earth. I don't want to change. This is my material. These are my tangible resources. Tangible resources. This is food as well. Definitely. What is the earth? The earth feeds us. Okay? The earth feeds us. But this is also fossil fuels, folks. This is definitely fossil fuels. All right. But Taurus energy, remember the bull energy, likes to be at peace. When it gets messed with, it will show you its horns and it will charge and suddenly move fast. Now, what we've been seeing for the year of 2020, anytime Mars shows up in a very difficult way, which is like this, we've been seeing a lot of things pointing to not just necessarily like military, but people being military-like, people showing up with weapons in a group or individually and doing some extreme things. I'm not saying that that has to be the case. Remember, these are just inclinations, but every individual feels these inclinations, and depending upon their own personal private birth chart tells how extreme this would be for them. Okay? Mars can also be the military, but it could be your, who shows up in uniform every day. They get paid to carry a gun and to create law and order and serve the people, right? Your police officers. Now, this doesn't have to be a bad thing. I know there's been a whole lot of not so great information about police officers, but it's just like any other profession. All right. I realize there have been abuses, but it's like any other profession. There's a bad egg in any profession. And yes, there's usually more than one. It's a matter of getting them and weeded out, right? And so we can't ignore this Jupiter and Saturn really coming down. I'm sorry, Jupiter and the sun. But see, Sun and Saturn are like the people in charge. All right. There's a couple of planetary bodies, and this is a luminary, but there's a couple of them where they represent the person in charge, and Saturn is one of them. And Saturn, being in Aquarius, like at 5 degrees, it's squaring Uranus at this time. It's getting, Saturn's at 453. Saturn moves slow. Okay, Uranus moves slow, but Saturn actually moves faster than Uranus. But they're squaring up. But Saturn, Uranus, and Aquarius. All right, those are 3 planetary bodies that show up as the person in charge. Like, I'm the boss here. I'm the authority figure. And I'm saying this is what we have to do. And so Saturn squaring Uranus, right? Saturn, the boss of the people. Uranus, the boss of our values, of our money, of our tangible resources. This is showing this stressful tension here. Okay. Now, in your chart, again, you just want to look, where are the 3 fixed signs at? Where is Leo? Where is Aquarius? And where is Taurus? When you find those 3 and see what houses they're in, you need to look at the degrees. The degrees are important. I have found that the degrees are more accurate, whereas if, you're looking at a house system where it's just like a whole house system, and those whole house systems don't really show you the degrees. Now, you can do whatever you want, but I'm just sharing with you what I have found to be true. It's why I combine the knowledge, the Vedic knowledge I have from Vedic astrology with the tropical Placidus, with the Western astrology, because I have found that it's more accurate when it comes to the timing of the cycles, the planetary cycles that we are living under. We are still living with the nodes. And this is the big message of this time for all of us. We're all going through it. We're all saying, oh my gosh, I can't believe they believe that. We're all doing it. We are all saying, I can't believe they believe that. And the other person saying the same thing about you, saying the same thing about me. I can't believe she believes that. Right? We're all doing it. And this is why. This is what the North Node in Gemini is. Remember, we are going towards a new way of thinking, a new way of communicating, a new way of relating. And keep in mind, Gemini energy is about local transportation. So it is about a new way of transporting ourselves, but locally, right? This is not necessarily taking to the air, although it is an air sign. So I know when Kobe Bryant, when that tragedy occurred, and him and his daughter and I think 6 other people, this was a factor. It was a helicopter incident. And right, normally an airplane is when you travel long distance, which would be Sagittarius. Well, the opposite of that is helicopter, which is Gemini. But this is also, within your community. So it could be the way, you're walking around and relating and, marketing, or just simply in the car and driving. It's driving around your neighborhood, or at least within your city. Okay. And just changing the way we relate and communicate, and changing our beliefs, letting go of beliefs, because we are formulating new ways of thinking and relating and talking and digitally communicating as well. And this is changing our beliefs. So this is an ongoing saga. This is an ongoing story. It's not like it's going to end after this reading, folks. This is for the rest of 2021. Is your Gemini and your Sagittarius energy. So knowing what area of your life your Gemini is in, what area of your life your your Sagittarius is in, this will all give you much more great awareness on what you're doing, how your thinking is being changed, what it's being changed into. It will help you to grab a hold on to it, to prepare and to have time to mentally marinate these new ways of communicating, but beginning with new ways of thinking, because that is how we elevate. When we hold ourselves accountable, that is when we look at ourselves, when we see the mirror, we see who it's in the mirror, and we say, okay, I heard what I said. I heard the way I said that. I heard the way I hear my own thoughts. And we say, you know what? I want to make that change because I want to be the change. And that's the only way we elevate. And when we do this, we do this. We fly and we release and we let go. And that is what the South Node in Sagittarius is. It is the arrow. It is flying up to the sky. It is the cosmos. It is Jupiter ruled. It is the universe. It is wisdom. High wisdom, folks. High wisdom. Wisdom from source. This is what we're striving for. To operate that way. To elevate in that way. So we're letting go of old beliefs, letting go of old ways of traveling through the air, and letting go of old ways of traveling, period. Because there's going to be new ways of traveling, new ways of communicating. There's going to be new ways of relating. And so we're going to be the ones. We are going to be the stars because we are stars. We are made up of stardust. Every single solitary one of us is a star child. And this is your star reading. You are a star. Shine, radiate, elevate.